Imagine growing up in a working-class neighborhood of Birmingham, England, with no idea that one day you'd be known as the Prince of Darkness. That's exactly how Ozzy Osbourne's story began, a tale that took him from humble beginnings to rock legend status. From being the unpredictable frontman of Black Sabbath to becoming a cultural icon in his own right, Ozzy's life is filled with wild stories, controversy, and unshakable influence on the music world. Today, we're diving deep into the timeline of Ozzy Osbourne, the man who defined heavy metal and left a legacy that spans over 5 decades. Born on December 3, 1948, as John Michael Osbourne, Ozzy's early life was anything but glamorous. Growing up in the tough, industrial neighborhood of Aston, Birmingham, Ozzy faced many hardships. He was the fourth of 6 children in a cramped, working-class family. His father worked as a toolmaker at a car factory, and his mother held a job at a factory as well. Ozzy struggled with undiagnosed dyslexia, making school a painful experience for him. He was bullied, misunderstood, and frequently in trouble. Little did he know, these early experiences would later fuel his rebellious spirit. By the time Ozzy was 14, he had dropped out of school and taken on a variety of menial jobs to help support his family. From being a plumber's assistant to working in a slaughterhouse, Ozzy hated the grind of everyday life. But music offered him an escape. When he first heard the Beatles on the radio in the early 1960s, he was hooked. It wasn't just the music that captured him, it was the idea that these 4 guys from working-class Liverpool had made it big. That realization planted a seed in Ozzy's mind. He, too, could break free from the life he was born into. In 1967, after a brief stint in jail for petty theft, Ozzy placed an ad in a local music shop that simply said, "Ozzy Zig requires a gig." Responding to that ad were guitarist Tony Iommi, bassist Geezer Butler, and drummer Bill Ward. Together, they formed the band Earth, which would soon evolve into Black Sabbath. At first, the band played a mixture of blues and rock, but something was missing. It wasn't until they wrote their namesake song, Black Sabbath, in 1969, with its ominous, heavy riffs, that they found their unique sound. That sound, a mix of dark lyrics, heavy guitar riffs, and Ozzy's eerie, almost otherworldly vocals, became the foundation of heavy metal. Their self-titled debut album, Black Sabbath, released in 1970, took the music world by storm. This was unlike anything anyone had ever heard before. Tracks like Black Sabbath and NIB transported listeners to a world of horror, mythology, and dystopia. Critics didn't know what to make of it at first, but the fans couldn't get enough. Black Sabbath's second album, Paranoid, released later that same year, became an even bigger success. It included some of the band's most iconic songs, including Paranoid, Iron Man, and War Pigs. These songs would go on to define not just Black Sabbath's career but the entire genre of heavy metal. Ozzy Osbourne's voice became the voice of rebellion, chaos, and everything dark and dangerous in the world of rock music. However, as Black Sabbath's fame grew, so did the personal struggles of its members. Ozzy, in particular, began to spiral into a cycle of heavy drug and alcohol abuse. The constant touring, pressure to create new music, and the temptations of the rockstar lifestyle took a toll on him. Despite their success with albums like Master of Reality, 1971, Volume 4, 1972, and Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, 1973, the band's internal tensions grew. Ozzy's increasingly erratic behavior made it difficult for them to continue working together. In 1979, after a decade with Black Sabbath, Ozzy was fired from the band. He was devastated and felt that his career was over. But this wasn't the end of the Prince of Darkness, it was just the beginning of a new chapter. Enter Sharon Arden, the daughter of Ozzy's manager at the time, Don Arden. Sharon saw potential in Ozzy even when he didn't see it in himself. She encouraged him to launch a solo career and took on the role of managing him. Under Sharon's guidance, Ozzy formed a new band and began working on his first solo album. In 1980, Blizzard of Oz was released, and it became a huge success. The album featured hits like Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley, which showcased Ozzy's ability to reinvent himself. His live performances were electrifying, and with guitar virtuoso Randy Rhoads by his side, Ozzy's solo career soared. He was no longer just the former frontman of Black Sabbath, he was a force to be reckoned with in his own right. But the 1980s were also a time of controversy for Ozzy. One of the most infamous moments of his career came in 1982 during a concert in Des Moines, Iowa, when he bit the head off a bat. The incident, which Ozzy claims was accidental, further solidified his wild and unpredictable reputation. He became a target of outrage from conservative groups and religious organizations, who accused him of promoting Satanism and corrupting youth. Despite, or perhaps because of, these controversies, Ozzy's fame only grew. Tragedy struck in 1982 when Randy Rhoads, Ozzy's close friend and guitarist, died in a plane crash while on tour. Ozzy was devastated by the loss and fell deeper into substance abuse. But through it all, Sharon stood by his side, helping him navigate the rough patches. They married in 1982, and their relationship would prove to be one of the most enduring partnerships in rock history. The late 1980s and early 1990s saw Ozzy continue to release successful albums, including No Rest for the Wicked, 1988, and No More Tears, 1991. His music evolved with the times, and Ozzy was able to stay relevant in an ever-changing music industry. He also became known for his larger-than-life persona, with his unique voice, sense of humor, and unabashed openness about his struggles with addiction, making him a beloved figure even outside the world of metal. In 1996, Ozzy, along with Sharon, launched Ozzfest, a touring festival that brought together some of the biggest names in metal. Ozzfest was a major success and introduced a new generation of fans to Ozzy's music, as well as providing a platform for emerging metal bands. It became an annual event, solidifying Ozzy's status as not just a performer but a metal ambassador. Then came a new chapter in Ozzy's life that no one saw coming. In 2002, Ozzy and his family became reality TV stars with the debut of The Osbournes on MTV. The show offered a glimpse into the chaotic, hilarious, and sometimes dysfunctional life of Ozzy, Sharon, and their children, Kelly and Jack. The show was a massive hit and made Ozzy a household name to a whole new audience. His bumbling yet lovable antics, combined with his obvious love for his family, showed a softer side of the Prince of Darkness. Even though Ozzy's life appeared to be under the spotlight, his personal struggles were far from over. He continued to battle addiction, going through multiple stints in rehab. He also faced health issues, including a near-fatal ATV accident in 2003, which left him with severe injuries. But in true Ozzy fashion, he persevered, continuing to perform, record music, and make public appearances. His 2007 album Black Rain marked a return to form, and he showed no signs of slowing down. In 2013, Black Sabbath reunited for their final studio album, 13, and embarked on a farewell tour. The reunion marked a fitting end to one of the most influential bands in rock history. Even though Ozzy had found success as a solo artist, his legacy with Black Sabbath remained intact, and fans were thrilled to see him back on stage with his old bandmates. In 2019, Ozzy revealed that he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a progressive neurological condition. Despite this, he remained determined to continue performing and released his album Ordinary Man in 2020, proving that even in his 70s, Ozzy Osbourne was still a force to be reckoned with. Ozzy's story is one of resilience, rebellion, and reinvention. From his days as a troubled kid in Birmingham to his rise as the Prince of Darkness and his continued influence on generations of musicians, Ozzy's impact on rock and metal is undeniable. His wild antics, personal struggles, and groundbreaking music have made him one of the most enduring figures in popular culture. So, what's next for the Prince of Darkness? Even as his touring days come to an end, Ozzy's place in music history is secure. Whether through his legendary performances, his unforgettable albums, or his pop culture moments, Ozzy Osbourne will forever be a rock and roll icon. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Ozzy Osbourne's incredible life and career, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment with your favorite Ozzy moment, and let us know who you'd like to see featured next. And don't forget to subscribe to Timelines Unlocked for more epic journeys through the lives of your favorite celebrities. Stay tuned, because the timeline is far from over.